Namaste, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Namaste. With one hand, the idea is with two, but I got the GoPro in one hand. My experience with those are what they call guacharacas, a type of bird here in Antioquia. They're a big bird. They kind of look similar to like a rooster. Not the same, but a little similar. They're kind of big and they make that sound, guacharacas. And they're up there on the pine tree, or maybe in this guachacan tree here, that when it blossoms with yellow flowers. There is with like a pinkish reddish color, but this one is yellow, the typical one. So my experience with spiritual awakening that I have been going through, you know, every experience is individual, and you can never really be in any other's experience. It's your own experience. I don't know when I started to have this awakening, the spiritual awakening, but I do remember I started to become interested in the teachings of Jesus Christ, whether he existed or not. They're up there. Whether he existed or not, I mean, that's not for me to say, but the teachings are here, and I remember that I wanted to start becoming a better person in terms of my actions in life, and not to harm others, whether it be physically or on the emotional, psychological level, mental level, and everything. So yeah, so that's kind of like the clearest moment I have in terms of the beginning of my spiritual awakening. Since I was a Roman Catholic, I was born into a Roman Catholic family. My mother was Roman Catholic, my father was Roman Catholic. He is now a Christian or something like that. So and yeah, it was not a strong Roman Catholic family, but nonetheless it was a Roman Catholic family. We did go to church on Sundays, usually, not always, when we were children, in South Carolina, USA, and that stuff. So yeah, I started that spiritual awakening, and before that I wasn't as sensitive to what people would say in a negative way, or their negative energy and stuff like that, or positive people, like people full of light, rather than people full of dark intentions, or a lot of dark intentions, and a lot of people full of good intentions, you know, light, full of light, you know, doing good for the better, for the greater good, or whatever. That's Sundari. Her grandmother was a Basset Hound. Her mother is a Beagle mix, and her father is the son of a Basset Hound, but he's also a mix. Anyhow, I love dogs, and so going through that spiritual awakening, I started to become more sensitive to people's energy, to what they said, to what they were feeling, even if they didn't say it. And it's just been intensifying, me becoming more sensitive to what people are, the energy around me, the people that are around me. That's why I like to stay away from people more often now, more now than ever before. And if I'm going to be around people once in a while, hopefully it's in people that I know, that it's people that are vibing right, on a higher level of vibrational frequency, on a higher, you know, whatever, instead of lower frequencies of vibration. So Lalito, Beam, Oreo, Brownie, those are her brothers and sisters. That was all of them right there. Su madre, Martina, Venus, Anyhow, and there's the mother. There's Sundari's mother. That's the beagle mix. That's Lalita, and that's the son Lalito, and that's Oreo. So yeah, so I've been going through a lot of situations with my father's family, my father's side of the family, a couple of people, and it has really affected me. But I've been fighting, and there's a misconception that I have heard, and even I'm experiencing myself, that when you start becoming more spiritually awake, you know, it doesn't mean you're going to be stronger and like a fortress, and that you're not going to feel those negative energies coming from people. The opposite, you're going to be more, let's say, susceptible to feeling it, more sensitive, more highly sensitive, and that's what's going on with me. And even with people that are very nice. Like I remember when I was in India in 2019, and I went to a Shiva temple, and the pujari was a nice man, about 58 years old, I would say, maybe 60 maximum. And I remember I felt his loving energy so strongly. I was so sensitive to it. And before I started the spiritual awakening, I wasn't really sensitive to those things. I had never really felt it from people in that way, not even from my ex. And then after I left her, it's after we broke up. I didn't leave her. It's more she left me, and I agreed, because we were just on divergent paths. And yeah, that's Shanti, meaning, you know, peace. That's her name, Shanti. And going back to 2019 in Bhubaneswar, the state of Orissa or Odisha, in 2019 in February, there I was at that Shiva temple. It was beautiful. I had no plans to go there because I didn't have it on my radar, but these Indian guys, young guys, like about 20 years old, 21, that I met, and they wanted to take selfies with me, and we talked for about 10 or 15, 20 minutes. They took me on their motorbike, two of them, and I went on one motorbike, and I was going to a different temple. I was asking about a different temple, and they said, no, you got to go to this temple. You have to go to this temple. So I went, and I met the pujari there inside. It was almost evening. Yeah, the sun had just set. It was starting to get dark, and it was beautiful. The man's energy, the pujari, means a priest, a Hindu priest, Shivite, or whatever you want to call that. The people that follow Shiva, and it was beautiful, and I felt his energy so strongly. It was so loving. It was crazy. Wow, I had never felt that, not even to this day now in 2025, from my own father. But when you're seeing this video, it's not 2025, it's either 2027 or 2028 or 2029, or maybe you're seeing it next year in 2026, whatever. You know, this is one thing for my channel. Nothing to do with my business, but I mix it here with the stuff that I promote. But anyway, that's not the story. Yeah, so when you're on the spiritual awakening, let's say, thing, then you're starting to wake up from the deep slumber of material life, and you start seeing that you're not this body, you're not this image, or this man or woman, but you're not this body. You're something that cannot be described, but we describe it anyhow. And you start going through the spiritual awakening. Wow, your sensitivity starts to increase to the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. That's why I heard, and I agree with it, because that's the way I'm feeling. The more awakened you become, the less interaction you want to have with people. It doesn't mean you're antisocial. It means you just don't want to be around frivolous talk, futile discussions and stuff like that, endless drama. You want to stay away from all that. And my father, he's one of those melodramatic people, and a lot of drama and just explosive, because when he explodes, even to this day, and he does his crazy stuff and whatever, I feel it. It's like flash grenades or stun grenades blowing up in my face, and I feel all that energy, and it starts to drain me, and I want to get away from him very quickly. I like staying away from him and people like him now, but it didn't used to happen before, when he used to verbally abuse my brother or myself or our mother. It didn't happen like that when I was a teenager or a young adult. You still felt it, but it was very light compared to now. So this is what's going on. We start to become more attuned with our inner self in this spiritual awakening process, more attuned with the cosmos, the universe, and we start moving away from saying that this is the only God or that's the only God and everything else is false, because we start becoming very open and non-judgmental. That drives me more nuts now than it ever did, because I become more sensitive. Shh. I've become more sensitive to the noise sometimes that just disrupts your thinking and whatever, and I love them. I do love them, but that's the spiritual awakening I'm going through. What about you?